found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Basilio, welcome you to another edition against the backdrop that there's never a dull moment. And I mean there's never a dull moment. As Tennessee's Arian Carter and Sean Sinclair's in the house, and we got to get into this, but he's been suspended 2 games. Adam Sparks, who joins momentarily, is been going off today in his reporting, but this broke within the hour. Now, for background, and I'm going to get into this, this has been going on for a while behind the scenes. This is an embarrassment to the NCAA, quite frankly, not to the University of Tennessee. It's an embarrassment to the NCAA. The old boy's barely breathing. This is it's in its final stages of breath. The NCAA is suspended. This is Adam Sparks today over on X. But the NCAA has suspended linebacker Arian Carter 2 games for $427 flight, which, by the way, he repaid during the NFL's pre-draft process. They're going to lose a key player for the Georgia Tech game for nothing, for no reason at all. I mean, as in there's no reason that this is going on other than the NCAA has to show whatever it shows. And I'll come to Sean Sinclair for this momentarily, but he's one of Tennessee's better defensive players. And he's suspended for 2 games, and it makes no sense. And behind the scenes, Tennessee's furious about this. When they first got word, he was a 3-game suspension. They've got it basically pled down and appealed down to 2 games. And I mean, look, the Georgia Tech game's already going to be a headache. You got a kid on defense, or rather a kid at quarterback has never played in a game like that, no matter who it is. And then you've got kind of a team that's going to be trying to find itself, and this guy's one of their leaders. Now, I want to rewind the clock, and then Adam Sparks is going to join us on the High Noon Hotline. Before I get to rewind in the nut here, let's go to a statement Tennessee released from Josh Heupel. Arian Carter represents everything that is right about college athletics, dedicating all 4 years of his career to the University of Tennessee, high character, loyalty, leadership within our program, unmatched. Last December, he declared for the draft. He signed with an agent, accepted a $427.48 flight. Boy, Josh, you're a man of details. To begin the pre-draft process, he withdrew from the NFL draft prior to the deadline due to a medical procedure, decided it was in his best interest to return to the University of Tennessee. More on that in a moment. For his senior season last January, in good faith, he disengaged from the agent. Terms the NFL paid back the flight in full. We disagree with the NCAA's ruling on punishing Arian with a multi-game suspension this fall. Arian made the right decision for his future health and well-being, and he proudly graduates from the University of Tennessee in Public Health, Dean's List honors in August. Our team stands behind AC and his family. We can't wait to be on the field with him during training camp next week. Here's the backstory. So, and Adam will be by on the High Noon Hotline, and then Watson Brown an hour 2. And this part and parcely is a great example of how we've gotten here. What do you mean? This is why the players just said that's it. That's why we ended up in the Supreme Court. That's why we're in the NIL era. Because these people are ham-handed. They are inconsistent. They are a joke. They are embarrassing. Let me run this by you here. First of all, you remember last year, Arian Carter had a terrible foot injury. Do you remember that? And before we bring Sean Sinclair in here, I just want to give you a little background. I'm going to let him respond to this. But this is how we get in this spot, boys and girls, that we're in. And he had a terrible foot injury last year. truly, he decided he was going to go try the NFL. He gets an agent. And by the way, that's totally legal in the NIL world. DGG has an agent. DGG is getting his flights paid for by the University of Tennessee. DGG's family is getting their flights paid for by the NCAA. What's the difference? The difference is that Arian Carter's agent was an NFL agent, not an NIL agent. One letter. Where do your great college football players, when you're recruiting guys, where do they want to end up? Do they want to end up in NIL or NFL? You tell me. Well, they want NIL, but really they want NFL. Arian Carter's big sin here is that he employed an NFL agent. And the NCAA, in their infinite wisdom, has decided that it would be prudent and just to slap him down and take 1/6 of his college season away from him, including Tennessee's real first game. So he had an injury. And here's the truth, and I'm going to get Adam to elaborate on this, because my understanding is this isn't even a major thing that's going on here. This is a level 3 violation. You can look high and low, and I encourage you to do this. Look high and low and tell me the last time you saw a level 3 violation result in something like this. Because it's embarrassing. Tony, are you being a homer? Not really. I mean, if this happened to anybody, if this happened to Georgia Tech, I'd be saying it's a joke. These people must go. Everything must go. They must go. So the NCAA basically, we're back in Bruce Pearl days. They've decided to fully throw the book at Tennessee over a parking ticket. That's what this is. Sean Sinclair, here's the thing I've been told in research. If Arian Carter would have been NBA bound, and the same scenario would have occurred. Foot injury, goes to camp. They fly him up there. They say, dude, you can't play pro sports with this. You got to show us next year that you're ready to play, or you're not going to play, or whatever. But your body right now, you're not playing. Sean, it would have been okay if he was a basketball player. But football players have different rules with the NCAA. Lottie freaking Dottie, Cinco. Welcome in on a Wednesday. Your thoughts?
Thanks, Tony. It's a shame. Not only that, you can go into the draft process and go into the G League and sign contracts and do all that stuff, and then come back and play college basketball. So that's really weird. But I think what the bottom line to this is that the NCAA is a people. People seem to have long memories. People, when they can get a free shot to punch up after they've been beaten down, are going to take that shot. So to think that the suit over in Greenville about NIL stuff, to think that didn't factor into some of this, I think if you don't think that, I think you're naive. I think this is a Cleveland State. I think this is just hey, we've got a chance here to bite back. And we're going to do it. This has nothing to do with, hey, we're going to go find everybody that took a flight like this. This has nothing to do with we're going to crack down. It's nothing. This is just, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with Arian Carter. It's pure spite. And they're just going to get it's like someone to get their ass whooped, but I got a scratch on them. That's what they're going to do. And then talk about the scratch they got them, and they can go home and say, well, at least I got a scratch on them. So it's unfortunate for the young man. The whole system is fraught with hypocrisy, unjust dealings, etc. I mean, good Lord. They were, unless the kid dropped out and tried to go the supplemental rep, they were going to let an admitted career gambler play who bet on his own team. So, I guess it just, unfortunately, the loose cannon was aimed our way and we get hit. Does it hurt? Yes, it does. Arion Carter, it's not a blight on his, on his resume or his career or anything like that. He'll still get his full NIL money. And with respect to him, he's had his share of injuries. So maybe this is 2 games that he doesn't have a chance to get injured. So I think this is one where you take your whipping and you move on.
If it was me, I'd sue him just to do it. Look, I'm not your whipping boy. University of Tennessee is not the NCAA's Cleveland State. University of Tennessee has a top 10 all-time history in the sport. When you look at Forbes's rankings, if these teams were available in the open market, the Vols always place very highly there. This is not the Tennessee Titans in the NFL, okay? No offense to my Titan fans that are watching.
Well, Tony, you make a great point, because let's say the circumstances were the same and the suit was filed here, and I think, was it Haggerty, the judge, or the chancellor, or whatever? Now, I could see where someone like him, because I think he had it was unfortunate, but I honestly didn't disagree with the Joey Aguilar decision.
Mm-hmm.
It was an outlier with every other court in the United States, but I really didn't argue with that. But I could see where someone in his position would go, no, wait a second. This is selective, excessive punishment for nonsense. The kid was going to go in the draft. Who would he talk to? Of course, he'd talk to an NFL agent. Did everyone's agent provide them with that? Usually provide them with advanced stuff to go to training before the draft? Of course they do. So this is not deviant or outside the lines behavior. This is absolute normalized behavior for someone in his position. When he found out that it may not have been his idea, it may have been counseled by the University of Tennessee, hey, pay that back so we don't run into anything. It doesn't matter. It was paid back. So I can see where if you took this to court, and I don't have a problem with what you just said. And I think a judge would rule fairly on that and say, no, this is excessive.
This gives Haggerty an opportunity to, I won't say right or wrong, but to make a layup here in the eyes of the Vol fan, because there's no way that stands up in court. It's a level 3 violation. It's a level 3 violation. I'd go and try to get a stay, and I'd play him. And if I piss them off, so be it. Because I'm more powerful than they are. Tennessee's more powerful. That's right. They're more powerful than they are. They're a joke. They're an absolute joke. They're the reason that we're in this spot
and
right
Miss
now.
Miss Plowman has showed that she'll go to the mat.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. And I'm not saying, I'm not emphasizing the miss or misses. I'm not doing that. Because it doesn't matter. The leader that she is, she's shown before she's not going to put up with this nonsense when her people are being treated unfairly. And if she's listening, I'm sure you have other things to do, Ms. Plowman. But if you're listening, I would take strong consideration in this. I know your boy Danny, the plumber, is an altar boy with the NCAA, but I'd go over his head. I'd take care of this.
Tennessee's just getting punched down on when really, well, we're going to get in it. We'll get Adam Sparks in here. It's a level 3 violation. I want to ask Adam about that. How often does this happen with level 3 violations? Level 3 violations are not, they never see what you see here. These things never see the light of day. They're footnotes in somebody's, like an article somewhere. I mean, come on now. The High Noon Hotline's buzzing with Adam Sparks at a Sentinel on a Watson Brown Wednesday after this.
Life never stops moving. In between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination. or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon Real Vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a T-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm here to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the balls just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the balls, we can do that too. I'm a ball at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face to face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage and you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Storm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. You know, I was just strumming on the tune like a Rolling Stone a second ago. And thinking of Saxy Lancy. Saxy Lancy, I look forward to seeing you, bro. I'm going to give you a big hug and kiss your neck. Thank you for putting up with me in my absence. Bring the great Adam Sparks in here without further ado. Sparks, you need to get up. Sing a tune with us this fall when we do our residency on Friday nights down at Calhoun's during football season. You need to come down and let me hug your neck and sing a jam with us. You favor Bryan Adams. Do you think you could sing like I don't know, Cuts Like a Knife in honor of the NCAA?
I haven't heard a Bryan Adams comparison. I always used to get the Dirk Nowitzki that I look like a 5'10" Dirk Nowitzki.
No, you look like that Canadian rocker, Bryan Adams, man.
Okay.
Nah. Talk to me here. The Vols have committed a jaywalking level 3 violation, and somehow they're in the slammer as you're on the High Noon hotline presented by that wonderful, those wonderful folks and their High Noon brand, which is... 100% vodka, 100% fruit juice, and ready to roll. How do we get here, man? Like, is there precedence for level 3 violation and you're going to miss 2 games? How do we get here?
It's very rare. Usually with a level 3 violation, and NCAA calls it a minor breach of conduct. It's what we usually call a minor violation. And I see these all the time. I've looked at hundreds of these over the years. I would say 95 to 99% of the minor violations that I see level 3 violations, they end up being something like a team can't recruit for, loses 10 recruiting days or five phone calls they can't make, these sort of things. Minor violation, minor sanction. The things you usually don't see, usually it's a team violation. It's not a specific player. And I think that's something that's a little different about this one. You occasionally see a level 3 end up in like a 1-game suspension for a coach because it has to be against just that coach and not the program. So I guess you would maybe say, how else could they penalize Arion Carter? I guess they could take it to 1 game. I don't know what else you can take away from a player. So that's a weird thing that they called it a level 3, yet gave a penalty that would be more of, at least a level 2. it's a weird situation. So I have compliance, I would say friends in the compliance world, sources, but certainly friends I talk to at different times when these questions come up, because none of us really understand the NCAA rule book. And I've posed this to them and said, what's the deal with this? And the response is, well, that is the letter of the law. And we all grew up understanding this from years ago, before the NIL era, that you say, hey, if you go into the draft, you hire an agent, and then they give you something, well, you're now ineligible. You can't come back. Everybody knew that 10, 20 years ago. But once you get to the NIL era, I think a lot of us sort of assumed that, there's a little more cushion to that, because in an NIL contract, you can hire an agent. You can have terms in the contract that says they will provide expenses for transportation, travel perks for your family, or whatever. I mean, we just saw reportedly DGG had that in his NIL contract when he committed to Tennessee. But the rule is still in the books from years ago that if you get a similar perk like that from an agent going into the NFL draft, that means it's impermissible. The funny part of this is it's not a violation if it's in an NIL contract, because it's seen as a marketing deal and you're still an amateur. So you're an amateur, you're getting a perk from your marketing deal, but you're not a professional. You're still an amateur. If you get that from an NFL agent, you have now told the world, I am a professional athlete, which means you're ineligible. And that's the crazy thing about it. A lot of this stems from the fact that the NCAA still has to view college athletes with multi-million-dollar NIL deals as amateurs. But if you get the same perks, even for a $400 flight going into the draft, then they see you as a professional.
Hey, Adam, over here on YouTube, one of these brain donors actually has a decent thought. Was this self-reported by Tennessee, or did the NCAA find this? How did this come to their attention?
Well, that's a good question. I think you have to declare everything. I think it's fair to say this was self-reported. I'd have to look back in the document, because the way you do it is when you come back, you have to declare everything that happened. Anything you did with your agent, you have to declare that you terminated the agent contract, because hiring an NFL agent is different than an NIL agent. The contract's a little different. So if you're withdrawing from the draft and you come back to school, it's just sort of standard practice that they have to, dot the I's and cross the T's of, hey, did you do all the steps that means you can come back to school? And so I don't think it would necessarily be Tennessee told on itself. Tennessee just followed the protocol that everybody has to do when a player withdraws from the draft and comes back in. And the NCAA has to do it too, because remember, he was even considering, if Tennessee didn't have a spot for him, that he would maybe have to go into the transfer portal. So I wouldn't say necessarily UT, threw up its hands, but they just went through the standard protocol, and it would be, hey, did you receive anything? He would say, well, yeah, I have a flight to the training facility, but I repaid it once I knew that I was coming back. And so then I terminated the contract with the agent. And Tennessee, I think Tennessee thought, so in the document that I have, he initially is declared ineligible. Now, that's just standard practice, because once they see that, they say, well, he's a professional, he's ineligible. And then you go through the process of, mitigating factors and talking it through and coming to some common sense solution. And I think Tennessee thought, well, of course, they're going to look at all these mitigating factors, especially the injury. That's the only reason he came back, and say, this guy did everything right, so let's give a slap on the wrist. Or one way they usually deal with level 3 penalties is that you put the player through rules education. You say, hey, just so you know, next time you go into the draft, here's the rules you need to do. So sit down, and here's an hour-long video that you need to watch about NCAA rules. And then that's it. It's sort of like when you get a ticket and they say, we're gonna wipe this away if you just watch this video about proper driving, but they didn't do it here.
Okay, riddle me this. As Adam Sparks joins. He covers the Vols with the greatest of ease for the Knoxville News Sentinel. He'll tell you that's an easy gig he's got. So it never ends. This is like the frivolous and the silly and the frivolity of the fun and the absurdity of it all. Adam, explain this to me. I was told earlier today, and I'm checking up on this, that if this same exact scenario happens in NCAA basketball, which is under their purview, their watch, that player's eligible. The same, he goes to Portsmouth, gets checked on. They tell him, "Hey, kid, your foot injury, you're not going to be. You're not draft eligible. I mean, we're not going to take you. Nobody's going to touch you. You need to go back to college." He gets back on a flight, comes back to school, gets rid of his an NBA agent. They let him back in. He repays the money. He lives happily ever after. How close to true is that?
Yeah, so it depends on the details of it. Generally speaking, absolutely. The NBA draft rules, the NCAA rules for the quote-unquote test the waters phase for players looking into the NBA draft, the rules are different. If he was going into the NBA draft, again, testing the waters, his agent could, under the rules, provide him with money for transportation to go to. He couldn't do it just to go to just a place to work out on his own, and that seems to be a little bit of what this is. But if it was involved with a team, he was going to a workout with a team, a meeting with a team, with an NBA team, anything to do with his agent. If he's meeting with his agent, then his agent could pay for all those travel expenses. If he's going in the NFL draft, there's none of that. There's no wiggle room at all. So you have to know the player has to know the differences, the subtle differences between the loose rules for the NBA draft, NCAA rules for the NBA draft, versus the rigid rules for a player testing the waters to go in the NFL draft. It's kind of crazy. A lot of times with NCAA rules, you see them come up and you think, I think just nobody thought to update this, and this seems to be one of those.
Well, we've got a bunch of laws in the state of Tennessee, if you look it up, that date back a couple hundred years ago about the way you skin a possum or whatever. I mean, who's going to update those laws? Who cares? I mean, it's like or wagon travel. It's like anything that any rule like what we're dealing with right here post COVID, post NIL means nothing. It has nothing to do with anything other than this is the NCAA looking to show that they still have some muscle and that they still have some teeth, which leads me to this. Tennessee got one game pled down, which is something they can show the fan base, but really it's a real loss for them. I mean, to get 2 games for a level 3 violation is like the NCAA saying to them, you kind of don't matter. We're going to punch down on you. Sean Sinclair said earlier, it reminds you of the 80s when UNLV would cheat and Cleveland State would get in trouble. That was the old saying in the old days. That is kind of what this thing feels like here. What does Tennessee, in your mind, do from here, Adam Sparks of my News Sentinel?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you could do is go to court. In the time frame that they have and the fact that this has been going on behind the scenes for a little while, I don't think they'll do that. Now, in the real life, we can look at this and say he's going to miss the Furman game. He was going to play, a half at the most in the Furman game. No big deal. He's going to miss the Georgia Tech game. And that could be – there could be some impact there because Georgia Tech has two stud running backs. That's going to be a physical game. You would want him out there. They do have depth at linebacker. It's not an enormous loss for the Georgia Tech game. I think Josh Heupel told Arion and told the team within the last couple of hours that this was coming down. The team didn't know it. A lot of the coaches didn't know it. So this was sort of news to everybody. They'll cope with it and move forward. I don't think they're going to take any legal action just because they've already tried to get it. They tried to go through the regular path and get this knocked down. Like you said, they went from 3 games to 2 games. I think this close to the season, had this happened back in February or something, this process already been this far along, I think maybe you could have seen some more happen. But, today is technically the last day of the off season for them. And they're out on the field right now, doing workouts. So I think they're just going to go forward and just let this play out. I don't think you'll see any more action from UT. Could be wrong, but I think this late in the game, they're not going to push it too much.
Hey, Adam, could Tennessee do what Florida used to do and suspend him for the first game and then the Kennesaw game? Is that
I was
a
told it
possibility?
has to be the first two games, which is again. You've heard of these things where you suspend players and they can kind of choose the games. We all roll our eyes at them, but it's an NCAA suspension, and so it's got to be immediate. So it's the first two.
Does Amari Campbell get the spot now?
I mean, I think he probably was going to get quite a bit of that anyway. I mean, if you think about just for Arion was out in the spring because he had the foot surgery. So he did not do any live reps in Jim Knowles' defense. Well, Jim Knowles has been looking forward to the fact that you're full go with him now. Now he'll still go through practice and all that, but you want live reps with him in a game in that defense, and he's not going to get that till week 3. By the way, Tony, I don't know. I know we're talking so much about Arion, but we're talking a lot about the NCAA. This may have flown over everybody's head, but we also put out a story today that the Tony Vitello Maui Ahuna decision was finally made. So we're talking about the NCAA and how they work and what's important and what's not. That case literally just ended. It's in the same report that I got the Arion Carter stuff.
Boy, somebody needs to let Tony know that. He'll really dig a deep breath wherever and breathe a deep breath wherever he is today.
And the funny thing is that Maui Ahuna is now in the AA. It's a Giants affiliate in AA. So hey, if you're a San Francisco Giants beat writer and you got nothing to write today, you can write that the case is finally closed on the Giants manager and the Giants AA shortstop. 4 years later.
You know what that beat's like, Adam? That's like watching the Hindenburg come out of the sky every day. That's what their beat's like. I mean, that is a total aeronautical disaster waiting to happen. Back to Arion. So he's out in the spring. Knowles is looking forward to him getting live reps. They have to certainly prepare seriously for this Georgia Tech game with some of the preseason stuff that they're going through. Does that inhibit the number of reps he was going to get in camp, or are they inhibited anyway, Adam, due to him coming back off injury?
No, I mean, he's full go now. It was none of this stuff was going to affect what he was going to get in practice before this. Now that everybody in the team knows it, I think he's going to get the same reps, let's say, in the first 2 weeks. Once they get to mid camp and then it is in game prep, it's like any other position. You're gonna go with the reps of the guys that are going to play in the game. And so, you could see them trimmed back a little bit, maybe in the 10 days up to the Furman game, maybe trimmed back a little more in the Georgia Tech game. And, and then he's full go after that for the third game, for the Kennesaw State game.
It just makes, I don't know. How badly does it hurt for the Georgia Tech games? Night games on the road. He's a veteran, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, everything that I hear out of Georgia Tech is that is going to be a physical run first type offense, especially early in the year. The Mendoza kid is a quarterback there. They feel like he's probably a pretty good decision maker, but you don't know how well he can throw the ball. Brent Key's the coach, and that's going to be a physical type of game. They have 2 stud running backs. They've got a physical offensive line. And they're playing at home. So Georgia Tech, I think, is going to look at it as this is going to be a slobber knocker type, low scoring, physical type football game. And, whoever controls the middle of the field, the middle of the line, is going to win that game. And so, Arion Carter being out, that doesn't mean Amari Campbell sure is going to get even more reps. You have Edwin Spillman, Jeremiah T-Lander, they like quite a bit. The coaching staff does. So you'll see more of those guys. But the thing is, Arion Carter, and we talked to him about this at SEC Media Days, there were some hints that he was going to maybe be a little more of an edge guy, that with Chaz Coleman no longer on the team, you have to have other sources of a pass rush. And they look at him and a couple of other guys, at linebacker, of guys that can be versatile type guys that can come off the edge and be a little more of a pass rusher. You're probably not going to need that quite as much in the Georgia Tech game, but you don't know how that game's going to go. And so that's one other tool that Jim Knowles wants and thought he had that he's not going to have for that game.
Then Perlotti's going to get a lot of work, isn't he? He's going to get an opportunity there, isn't he?
I think so. I mean, I guess if you're one of those guys, Perlotti, Harmon, a little bit with Spillman maybe too, you're saying, hey, this is where I sort of get a head start. Because, Arion Carter's all SEC, he's preseason all SEC and all that. And Jim Knowles really likes him a lot. He recruited him at Ohio State back a few years ago. So he knows Arion. He likes Arion. But first two games, if you're getting more reps because Arion's not in there, like a Perlotti, that's your chance to sort of flash. And so then when Arion is back in the lineup, he's got to compete for you for those reps. There's a little bit more of an opportunity there for those guys.
The trio was Perlotti, Spillman. The third one was
Harmon, Jaden Harmon.
Okay, yeah.
One of those guys will be in, one will be out, I think, over the course of this, because they're going to play two, maybe sometimes three linebackers at a time. And by my count, they probably have about six that could fill that role. So, if this was going to happen to a position, this is the one you would want it to be. It's just it just comes down to the Georgia Tech game, that you want your absolute best players on the field. And Arion Carter is one of the best players of the team. He won't be in that game.
He's a leader. It's a night game. You have a kid starting at quarterback. I know it's on the other side of the ball, but he's a leader. He's a calming presence. Does he make the trip travel? Is he there according to the rules, or does he have to sit in the stands for that game as a suspended player?
Oh, boy, that's a good question. I think he can still travel. I think he probably can't be in uniform, but I think he could travel. You bring up the leadership point. Sometimes we can roll our eyes at that, but that's
huge.
Important. Yeah. Young quarterback. Think about this. Last year, Arion Carter was the first non-senior that Josh Heupel had taken to SEC Media Days. And this year he went again. You usually don't see guys repeat. And so last year he said, I know he's not a senior, but he's sort of the heartbeat of this team. I'm bringing him. And then this year he looked at all these players that he has and thought, well, I'm not going to go to SEC Media Days without Arion Carter. He's a spokesman of the team. And so that sort of tells you what how the other guys see him.
It's huge. Yeah. Is this Tennessee's time you've been covering the club? Best linebacking core they've had, Adam, in your mind?
Yeah, it is. And, the funny thing is I asked Arion at SEC Media Days how he reacts to some of the pub that they've gotten, because you've seen a few hints out there of these preseason lists and all that, listing Tennessee is maybe the best, certainly one of the best linebacking cores in the SEC. I think there's reasons for that because of the depth, and that I just listed off like 6 different guys. The fact that you have all SEC guy coming back, you also have Edwin Spillman, you have veterans like Jeremiah T-Lander, and then you add Amari Campbell, which is one of the best portal guys in the SEC this offseason. So there's reasons for that. I think there's also reasons to push back, though, because there was only, I think, one guy on this linebacking core that had adequate pass coverage numbers last year. And Amari Campbell also did not have great pass coverage numbers last year either. I think Spillman was the only one that had adequate numbers. So, if you can run downhill and hit people and tackle, that's really good. But there's more to the job. And this group of guys has a lot of potential, but this group of guys also have had some hiccups in critical third down situations.
Adam, you did a great piece about off-season grades, and promote that for me on your way out here, and tell the listener about what you come up with.
Yeah, I just looked at, how did they do in the portal and recruiting off-season, The big one is that I gave him an A+ in terms of staff changes. The best coordinator on the open market this offseason of either side of the ball was Jim Knowles. He was the guy, the number one guy that was out on the open market, and Tennessee got him. Paid for him, and they got him. We didn't even know who the strength coaches would be on the open market. We didn't know that Derek Owings was going to be. But if you knew that, he would be at the top of the list by far of any strength coaches out on the open market. Tennessee got him. And the way that they got both of those guys was pretty savvy on Josh Heupel's standpoint. So the offseason staff changes, I gave an A+. Recruiting's been up and down. DGG was huge. But they're still behind in other areas. It's hard to gauge that in this time because your recruiting classes are smaller. You go more for the portal. But one thing when I reviewed back the offseason, I thought the pluses and minuses, a big minus that we tend to forget about now because it seems like forever ago, is that they lost in court with the Joey Aguilar situation. And that's still a massive loss if you look at it. If quarterback pans out, it doesn't matter.
Fine.
But if that's a deficiency on this team, the biggest loss of this offseason by a country mile is the fact that they lost in court with Joey Aguilar. Because they hesitated in the portal to get a quarterback because they thought they'd get Joey. They thought they had him. They didn't. They counted on that. It didn't happen. And, if Joey Aguilar is on the team right now, this team is not picked 8th in the SEC. It's probably picked 3rd.
Don't even. Here's the thing about the season, Adam. And I know you catch us from time to time, and I appreciate that. You text me every once in a while. It's fun. But here's the thing. I can't figure out this league for the life of me. And you cover this, and you're around these guys. I can't figure out the Vols. I can't figure out the league. I don't know what Texas is going to do. I believe in Georgia. I don't know who else I believe in. I don't know if I believe in the Vols. I mean, I have no feel for this thing. Zero. And then yesterday, we get our guy on from Southeastern 16 who says he's throwing out Josh Allen for this Curtis kid down at Vanderbilt. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's so when I looked at the all SEC preseason all SEC teams that voting, it's a farce now. That's not the SEC's fault, but when you go into the little ballot and you click on, what defensive lineman am I going to vote on, and like 40 names pop up, and some of them you recognize, and you think, wait, I thought that guy played in the Big 12. I thought that guy was in the Big 10, and they're all transfers. So you have no idea if these guys are really good or they were just good where they were at. You can't remember who's been added and subtracted. A guy that you think is going to make Ole Miss a contender, you have to rewind your brain and remember that he plays at LSU and vice versa.
Right.
And so, it's just really hard. I mean, for my money, the safe money is Georgia. The safe money is always going to be Kirby Smart and Georgia and running the ball and defense and all that. And really, if you look at Tennessee, the safe money is that Josh Heupel is going to be competitive. Certainly not bad, but probably not great. That's sort of safe money if you look at how the SEC is going to be. And Shane Beamer is going to be bad, probably should be fired, but instead is going to pull out like 2 wins at the end of the year, where it seems like maybe he'll stay. If you're Tennessee, you just hope you're not one of those guys.
Shane Beamer is like the cat that has 9 lives. He just keeps getting up for some reason. He proves that he's still employed. It proves God has a sense of humor. It's kind of like me getting a chance to do this every day with my lack of attention to detail. But Adam, thank God that people like you make me sound somewhat competent and intelligent, and I appreciate you joining. Is there anything else you'd care to add? And if the living listener wants to follow along once you depart the High Noon Hotline, where do they find you?
On Twitter at Adam Sparks. knoxnews.com, so you can find our coverage. We got a whole bunch of other NCAA reports that are all coming out throughout the day. Most of them this morning, but we've still got other things. And I'm ready for football. Camp starts next week. We'll be there for the on-campus media day Tuesday, first practice Wednesday, and I'm ready to see actual real football instead of this. But until then, we'll have plenty.
Thank you, my friend, and let's hope the NCAA, this is the last vestige of them. We hear from them between now and then. Thanks, man. Good talking to you.
Yep, good to be on.
The great Adam Sparks, one more time. Cinco and Bry. And once again, I want to thank our friends at High Noon for providing our wonderful guests like Watson Brown, who will be on shortly on your High Noon hotline. I want to shout out my friends at High Noon here today. And just to repeat, Arian Carter's going to be out for 2 games. It was initially 3. He's been suspended by the NCAA. Adam Sparks said 99% of the time, level 3 violation is you get a slap on the wrist and you get to move about the cabin. Not here. We're just going to take a team in the Southeastern Conference picked a respectable 8th in the league, in a league where any of those 8 teams could end up in the playoffs, and we're just going to kneecap them for no reason. Just going to slap them in the knee and draw a little blood. And Sean, it makes no sense. You hear Adam on here? It makes no sense what they've done here in this era, Sean. A basketball player last year against the fall. Look, I'm not trying to be funny. Am I making this up? A basketball player was playing on an NBA roster, on a 2-way deal, and ended up playing against us in a game. Am I making that up? Stop me. Was not Betty Crocco he was in professional basketball, and he showed up and played against us, Charles Betty Crocco. And he had all the box tops. He won the box tops.
And they still lost, too.
You know why? Because cheaters never prosper unless they're at Indiana last year and they take the test with all the answers. Then they win the national championship. Cinco, after hearing that, I'd like your thoughts.
Well, it was interesting that he said that he didn't anticipate Tennessee do anything legally, that they would do the best they could without Arion for the 2 games, and then we would just move forward. I don't know what you do. It's the whole thing has gone silly. It's gone spiteful. It's gone. I think it's even gone ridiculous on the part of the the booster for Texas Tech. Not that I begrudge him for wanting to get involved and bringing them back into the big time. That's his opportunity, his prerogative, his money. But when you have business dictating how things are going to go, and then finding their own avenues to circumvent rules, and then the NCAA just being neutered at every turn, and then they do something like this, which really it's not going to see. The whole point of these things is to send a message, a cautionary tale to somebody else. That's not the case here. They're not. This is not going to be an advocacy for someone in a similar situation next time. This is just to take a little slap because they have a chance. I don't blame Tennessee. I don't want to think of my school as one that's going to look the other way, all the time. I don't think we have to be absolute perfection, but one thing I've never heard about is Cincinnati knew, according to a couple of places that I've seen, that whatever that cat's name was, how
Sorsby.
Quickly we forget his name. Sorsby.
He's a Houston gambler. He's a Houston gambler now.
Yeah, Cincinnati knew the whole time that he was gambling and gambling on there and didn't do anything. How does Cincinnati have a program right now?
Yeah, Ewad.
How's that coach coaching?
Yeah, Eric Waddell.
I don't get that.
Garza Law 5th quarter fan reaction for about 10 years. Let's rip you for a few minutes. How do they, Brian? How does Cincinnati with a straight face, Brian, have a program right now, Brian Hartman? They knew about it. Come on, Brian, I want you to explain that. Go ahead, Brian. You're in the hot seat. Go ahead, Brian. Are you going to fight for Ewad, Bry? Or are you going to just you've been up there to games with him? Come on now.
So is the take home message? Hey, if you know something, don't report it, because if you do, you'll serve a 2-game suspension. But hey, we've got a somewhat of a a pathological a gambler here, and but we're not gonna say anything. And guess what? Nothing's gonna happen.
The take home message
doesn't
is
make sense.
The SEC should be dragged from the line and severely beaten. That's the take home message here. The SEC should be dragged from the line of life and severely beaten with a blunt instrument by Shane Galoli, who hit that precious figure skater. What was her name, Cinco? I'm dating myself right now. What was that lady's name? Brian, do you remember the lady's name that got hit at the behest of
Nancy Kerrigan? Nancy
Kerrigan, who's now living her best life up in Massachusetts, I understand. She's a proud mom. I mean, listen, Cinco's right. Ewad, you knew you had a Houston gambler on the scene. You knew it. City of Pete Rose.
Well, they were like 7-5,
city,
so I guess since they didn't win.
The same city that gave us Pete Rose, the same city that gave us the Bohannon guy when his buddy went to the casino and put a few shekels on Alabama baseball that night. I mean, what are we doing? I'll tell you what we're doing. Somebody said to me, Cinco, don't start this thing again how we don't know what's going to happen in the SEC. Cinco, am I allowed to say that? I don't know how to feel about this upcoming season with any of these teams. I think about Texas. I'm telling you right now, this Arch Manning guy, Sean's overrated. You can laugh at that if you want. You can say I'm crazy. If that kid's name wasn't Manning, nobody would know his name, Sean, because he sucked.
No, he had a couple of good games at the end. But I'll tell you what, before you crack on Cincinnati, remember Cincinnati also gave us the Collins brothers, Bootsy and Catfish Collins. Key function.
Oh!
So let's not run down the whole town.
That's what I'm screaming. We're doing a little music here. Because once upon a time, you dressed so fine, Ewad. You threw the bums a dime, Ewad, in your prime, Ewad. Didn't you? All right, so when we return, High Noon Hotline burns it up once again. Watson Brown in the house, presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats. We'll take some calls. We'll talk about this thing. If I were Tennessee, I wouldn't let this go. I wouldn't let it go on principle. I'd show them, we'll belly up to your bar. You want to come get some of this? We'll come get some of this with you. I'm Danny White. I'm not afraid to belly up to your bar. Here's a problem with Danny White, though. Danny White, how do I say this? Okay. You got to look left, look right, look left again. I'm going to cross the road here. He's what we call an institutional guy. Do you know what an institutional guy does? He falls right in line with the institution. You know what the institution is? The NCAA. You know what he wants to do by them? Be liked. Wants to be a commissioner one day. Probably could do that. I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for him to fight for the Vols here. I mean, what are we talking about here? All right. Ewad says, following Watson Brown, he wants to come on and answer Cinco today. And he said, you need to tell Cinco not to say my name in vain. He says,
I didn't say his name. You did.
You need to tell Cinco to keep my name. Yeah, that's right, Ewad. I'm the one that drug your name into this. And you need to answer for Cincinnati's crimes.
Was it what's the Smith guy that punked Chris Rock?
Exactly. Don't go all Will Smith on me.
Well, yeah, don't go Will Smith. I didn't have your name in my mouth.
Come back on the other side. I'll tell you this. If you're expecting Danny White to fight for a player on that football team, now if it was fighting for, I don't know, a few extra dollars for a some kind of one of these fake. How do you say this? I'm not trying to cast aspersions on him. One of these fake bonuses he gets at the end of the year, like $60,000 for fogging up a mirror on January 2nd, 2027. $50,000. Take a brief time out. Hour 2 after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Tony B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie, they underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsurantetn.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy? You gaining weight? Or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org, and both locations we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics. They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at PipeWrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit PipeWrench.com for details.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the week, so there's not much to do in Knoxville, right? Wrong. Get out to Covenant Health Park because your Knoxville Smokies have Taco Tuesday and All-You-Can-Eat Wednesday with all the good food you can eat for less than $20. And that includes game tickets. Sweet. Thursdays, get your drink on with Thirsty Thursday and half-off draft beers. So beginning of the week blues, no more. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com. Knoxville Smokies.
TB back with you. The great Watson Brown now joins. It's unbelievable. I love this man. Watson, a second ago, we just had the great Adam Sparks on. We're talking about this Arian Carter suspension. But he said something I want to get your thoughts on. He said that, he looks at the SEC this year, right? And he looks at the way these teams are picked. And I want to get your thoughts on this and see if this feels correct to you, okay? He says, if Joey Aguilar, Watson, how you doing, man, by the way?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks, Tony. It's getting close to football time, so I get a little bit antsy. My wife says I can tell when football season still gets here because you scramble in bed all the time. You never get still. And I don't coach anymore, but I still do it. So I don't know.
I know it's football season when the NCAA is suspending a kid for taking a $427 flight that he paid back today, and the whole thing's totally absurd and silly and ridiculous, but they've got to act like the NCAA because they are. And Watson, here's what he said, because I'm looking at the league this year and I can't figure this thing out for the life of me. Okay, they had the voting last week and this, that, and the other. And they picked Tennessee for 8th, and that's fine. And all politics are local. And I don't want to bore people by talking about the Vols entirely because I want to talk about the league. But the fact remains that the league is kind of a jumbled mess after a couple teams. And I'm not so sure I'm buying Texas at this point, but that's okay. I'm certainly buying Georgia. Adam Sparks said that, in his opinion, if Joey Aguilar would have won his court case, the Vols might have been picked 3rd in the league. Do you think that's true? Would the Vols be – does that having a proven veteran quarterback mean that much, do you think?
Well, first of all, these picks never mean a hill of beans. They didn't back 20 years ago. They sure don't now.
Yeah.
Because you've got no clue what each team's got. I mean, it isn't this what's coming back anymore other than the quarterback position. I mean, everything else is a brand new team the next year. So how in the world can you sit there as a reporter or anybody, not just a reporter, and pick Texas A&M or somebody when they've got so many new faces? So I don't put much into that, but I do think the ones that have been picked up at the top have returning quarterbacks. So if Tennessee had a returning quarterback healthy, yes, I think Tennessee would have been looked at as one of those that would have been up there in the, I don't know, the 3rd, but up much higher than they are, 4th, 5th, somewhere in there.
Yeah, they're picked 8th. And I look at that voting, okay, and I look at the league, and you could make a case to me that any of these teams could sneak in. Like last year, nobody had Oklahoma on their dance card. They snuck in. The truth is, the SEC affords you the opportunity, if you do it on the field, to get there. And what do you got to do? You got to stay healthy. You got to hit your stride at the right time, and you got to come together, those are the things Oklahoma did last year. And there could be a surprise tour team out there this year. Like, for instance, here are the top 5. You tell me what you're buying, selling, or trading. Georgia at the top. You buying, selling, or trading that?
I don't know about top because I don't know if that's possible to pick, but I'm buying. Georgia's up there. They will be one of them in the mix for sure. I'd talk more about the mix, the top 3 or 4.
The mix. The mix is all that matters. Yeah. You know, here's a crazy thing, right? Winning the league doesn't even matter anymore in these deals. Winning the league's almost vanity. You're just going to wear your team out.
It does. The pride of that will never go away. It's diminished a little bit, but it will never go away. These coaches coaching at these SEC schools, absolutely, if you ask them today, what would you like to happen? Number one, win the Southeastern Conference. There's no doubt about that.
Bottom line is that, it's fun to talk about, though. I don't know, Watson, because
we got to talk about it. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's the fun of it. It's a serious business, Tony. I mean, this went from a game back 50 years ago to very serious business now. There's a lot of money at stake in these things. A lot of your big-time donors throwing a lot of money around. Your university is throwing a lot of money around. A lot of this money being paid to these athletes is coming from the universities. So this is more than a game now. It is a game, and the kids still love to play it, but there's a lot more at stake. And believe me, these coaches are feeling that.
as Watson Brown joins, he's presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Shout out to the great Barry Rice, who sent a great testimonial for Simpson's Meats. They're located off Level Road, online at simpsonsmeats.com. I get a lot of compliments. They've got something big brewing. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit, but they are, since 1888 on Jim Simpson's family farm, they're a tradition, and they're happening. Kind of like, I don't know, like we're almost a tradition at this point, 32 years and counting. People ask me how long I've done this.
You are a tradition.
Well, I say long enough to know better, Watson. That's how I answer people when they ask me how long I've been doing this. But Watson, then I get to Texas, okay? And Texas has a rebuilt offensive line. They've got Arch Manning, who was kind of a check down Charlie at the end of the year, and he ran some numbers up against the Arkansas of the world. But in the real games, he was still erratic as a thrower. I don't know, man. That's a fishbowl there. You know that better than anybody. I don't know if I trust Arch Manning.
Well, I won't say trust. I will say he hasn't been that QB to win a championship yet. Mm-hmm. But it's time for him to do that. This is the year he should do it. I always go back to Hendon Hooker. Mm-hmm. And how he was in year one, pretty daggum good, but not. And then the next year, unbelievable. So it's time. It's Archie's time. All these returners, the guy at A&M from Nashville, it's his time. He's got to step up and do it now. Gunnar Stockton is expected to do that, step up and do it. The guy at Ole Miss, boy, you talking about, he's got some heat on him. He probably played over his head last year. I mean, he was phenomenal at the end of the year. Unbelievable. And the one guy, him and Pavia, were the two guys I thought that absolutely just willed their teams to where they went. And Chambliss did the same thing. Can he do that again? He should. If he could do it last year, he ought to be able to do it again this year. He's got his tailback back. That deal at Texas with that new offensive line is a little bit concerning to me. They weren't great there last year. They underachieved in the offensive line last year. What's going to be better with a bunch of new faces? So that's the place to watch, which is going to be really good again. That's the part nobody's talking about that I think will lead them into that upper echelon, top fourth kind of thing. But Arch Manning has got to prove to all of us, Tony, that he is the guy that can do that. And it's time for him to do it. It's hit or miss now. There's no more talking. There's no more saying, well, this is his first year. It's on him now. He's got to perform.
The great Watson Brown stands with me on that. We don't know what to make of I don't know what to make of Texas. I mean, if you want to crown them, have fun. And it's going to be, look, and they jump from the frying pan into the fire. They get a week one little rest, and then they go right to Ohio State. And last year they opened the season with them, and it was ugly. This year they get a dress rehearsal. I don't know. Does that help? The game's in their building. Does that help? I have no idea. Yeah, I know this. Ohio State's got a great team. Ohio State's got a very good team, and they're going to play for keeps, as we know, and try to make it two in a row against the Texas bunch. Watson, you bring something up, though, regarding just the changing nature of this, because one of the teams that's up there as well in that top five, and I'm going to go out of order here, who cares, but A&M is replacing their entire offensive line. Yeah. And it's fun to pick them. They were kind of a fun story last year, and they hosted a playoff game. And it's been forever since they've, put something on a T-shirt that, their fans could buy, and they made the playoffs, and that's great. Watson, they only have two scholarship offensive linemen back on their entire roster. They brought in 10 new guys, 5 of whom will be starters. How do you do that? How sustainable is that?
In the old days, Tony, I'm calling old days even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that was hard to do. In today's world, you make mistakes, you can fix it quick.
Yep.
That would be the plus I see as being a coach in today's world over the years past. You didn't do well in your first 2 years of recruiting or whatever, and you made some mistakes. You paid for it dearly as a coach. You paid for it dearly, and you had to try to hang on. Now you fix it in a year, and you got money like A&M's got, and you go get the best linemen in the country and buy them. That's what you do. So it's really not the same. You can't rely on that the same way. Texas could do the same thing. Both of them got money. Last year, to me, Tony, this is as a guy that's 32 years a head coach and 45 years in the business, 40, all but 2 of those as an offensive coordinator. I say this and look back, and this is the most definite statement I can say. Winning and losing comes down to, most of the time, are you better than who you're playing? How good are you, and who are you playing, and how good are they? Last year, Texas A&M had a wonderful schedule. They didn't. Their schedule was one of the easier ones. They were better than a lot of people they played. Let's look at that schedule this year and see if that's going to make a difference or not. Because I thought that was the big thing for A&M last year. Within the conference, they had one of the easier schedules.
Bottom line is this: I'm selling them. I'm gonna give you another sell. Everybody's looking at LSU and saying they're one of the 5. I'm selling Ole Miss for the reason that Watson said. Trinidad Chambliss this year is going to be the chased. He was a fun story last year. People have been studying. I hate to tell Martin Columbus this. People have been studying film on him all year and circling him and underlining him and going to have a plan for him. Last year, you had to respond. He comes in a flash. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. See, here's the thing, and you brought up Pavia earlier. Our fan base is dunking on Pavia because he got cut by the Ravens, early in camp.
Well, it don't matter. I mean, it's
I don't
all
dunk
what
on
he did
him.
when he was in college.
Exactly.
The NFL.
Hey, Watson, you know what he is? And I want this fan base to listen up here. He's a Hall of Fame college football player. That's what he was.
He had a Hall of Fame year. You can dang sure say that.
Well, he had a Hall of Fame.
He end up being in the Hall
there.
of Fame because he's a Heisman Trophy runner-up. I mean,
yep.
So he had a heck of a year. But I'm going to take you on a little bit by what you just said about Chambliss.
Right.
Everybody's going to be after him. Everybody was after Pavia. We said that. Everybody's going to zero in on this kid. Can he do it again? We don't think so. He did. He did it again. He did it better than he did it the first go around. I think the Ole Miss question mark is the head of the helm. Is the guy leading the ship now as good as the guy that was leading the ship last year?
That's exactly right.
That's what I think. That's what
why you're selling them.
We're going to see with Ole Miss.
Hey, Watson,
because they've got money. They have money. They bring in good players.
Sure.
In the transfer portal, they were one of the better transfer portal teams this year by how they were judged. So
yeah.
I think the question mark is at the top, and let's see if he can lead them. And he did a pretty good job when he took over at the end, but that's not the same now. It's not the same when you take it over and it's your program and you got the year to get ready. And so that's what I'm looking at to see. I'm pulling for him, but that's what I'm looking to see.
I'm selling that. And LSU, by the way, 63 new players. Look, I know Lane Kiffin's the king of chaos. I don't know who to choose in the top of the SEC. People say, Tony, that's obnoxious. You're saying this again. Well, Watson, I don't know. I'm buying Georgia. I'm not buying Texas. I'm not buying LSU. I'm not buying Pete Golding. He's never been there. Last year, he got the keys to the car when it was going 1,000,000 miles an hour down the hill. What's it going to be like when you have to take the car up the hill? What's it going to be like when you have that losing streak in the middle of the season of 2 games and you got to get your locker room back and you got to make decisions because he's going to go through those things? What's it going to be like when a player that you love misses a couple of practices, and do you play him or not? And do you punish him? And the whole team is watching and all those things, man. That's, and you cannot simulate that, Watson. You can't.
No, you cannot. But I'm with you, Tony. You're basically selling everybody except
yes.
Georgia.
Yes.
There's a reason for that. You don't know. That's the difference in today's world. That's why it's going to be fun. is because we don't know. All we're going to do is sit back and start watching everybody play and to see who's going to live up to what the hype is and who's going to be better than the hype, because everybody's different. They're all a new team. It's not the old days anymore. And you can't say, well, we've got this number back. You don't hear that being talked much. You hear talk about the quarterback being back. That's a big piece. And if you look, the ones that are listed up at the top, most of them have got the returning quarterback or a big-time transfer coming in, supposedly a big-time transfer. See, I'm not sold on LSU because of quarterback. The guy that they got, I thought was okay. That it wasn't a great quarterback transfer year, and I just thought he was okay. Maybe I'm going to see if I can be proven wrong, because it's going to take a guy at LSU to be really, really good to put them at the top, really good. And I want to see if that kid is that.
To the great Sean Sinclair, I bring you in. Cinco, I haven't even asked you this. I don't know what to make of the league, Sean. Georgia, I will buy because the guy's a track record. He knows what he's doing. They're going to run the football. They're going to play solid defense. They mint defensive linemen down there like they're going out of style. The guy manages a game really well. They find a way of the 4 or 5 plays that define these games when they're close. They always find a way to win 3 of those plays. Thank God they're off our schedule. I got tired of that annual loss to them. Even in years where Tennessee outplayed them, they still found a way to lose to them. Cinco, I don't know what to make of the rest of the league. I just don't.
No, I agree with Coach. I think that's the case. You just don't know. And these early season rankings are very much like how through the years we've complained about AP or whatever polls because we knew some guy in the sports information department was just filling out a bracket weekly. And it's simply they were doing that because they couldn't know everything. And they just went with, okay, well, Georgia's always been good. Kirby Smart's great. They recruit like gangbusters. Let's put them up there. Well, Texas is the same thing. And then it's because that's the safe pick. And now you get guys right now that, they transfer every year to somewhere different. You don't know how they're going to compete at the new place, et cetera. So they have to do something because fans like myself, want to buy the magazines and they want to look at it. And there's, you want to ramp up hopium and you want to ramp up excitement for the season. But I'm with you. I think if you were to ask me, I would probably go with the ones that are safe picks. Georgia's a safe pick. Texas is a safe pick. Simply because Texas has great players. I mean, they're coming here, but we may make fun of Arch Manning. He may or may not be as good as his last name, but they're going to have great players. And some of the LSU's done a lot. Lane Kiffin wins. That's all I need to know. He's going to win. And so it's I think it's just an exercise in trying to get some teams on there and put out a top 25. But at the end, you don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. And you know what that leads to this, Watson? Josh Heupel and the rest of these coaches know if I'm in the top 8 in this league, I can make the playoffs if things pan out right for me. I can make a playoff because there's an opportunity for me. You wake up in the old days when they pick you 8th or whatever, you didn't feel like you had an opportunity. These days, there might be 9 teams in this league capable of making the playoffs, which is pretty wild to stop and think about.
Which will be fun. And the difference in today's world with this playoff system and the way it's set up and everything now, if Florida lost to Tennessee in the old days in game week 3 or 4 of the season, you pretty much were done. You were fighting for second or third or whatever. And now that's not true because when you're playing 9 of these boys, and somebody goes through this undefeated, they're pretty daggone good. I'm going to tell you that right now. And been very, very lucky if they win them all. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think there'll be an undefeated team in the SEC.
Agree.
I don't think there'll be an undefeated conference team in the SEC. They'll lose everybody will lose at least one. And that's what's going to make this fun because it's going to make you play the year out, not just, we lost the big one. We lost the big one in game 5, so we're done for the year. It's not that way anymore. That was the way Oklahoma, Texas was for years. Whoever won that game went on, and then they were the ones to watch the rest of the way, and the other one kind of finished second and on down further. And not the case anymore, man. It is going to be so much fun. Here's the great example of that. It's Oklahoma. They're floundering around. All of a sudden, they get hot at the end of the year and they get in. So that's what I think makes the fan base are more excited than I've seen them with all of this craziness in college football and college athletics. Yep. I don't know how long that'll last, but the reason they're excited, in my opinion, Tony, is they feel some they don't feel the dynasties are just sitting there anymore. You're going to have to go earn it, and it ain't going to be easy to earn it, and you might earn it by losing too, and you might even earn it. So that's the way I see why the fan bases are excited. Only
Everybody,
thing I think is you better have really good quarterback play, or you're not going to be in the mix. More so than ever before, the quarterback has become such a big piece of everything. He touches the ball so much more than he used to. Used to, you hand it to Herschel and get out of the way as a quarterback and throw it 15 times. Those days are gone. And your quarterback play has to be good. If it's not, you're not going to be in the mix.
You bow thy head when you say thy name, the great Watson Brown joining. It's like going to a lecture, of a guy that's a professor. All those years, all the big headsets you've worn, all the stuff you've been in. The truth about college football now is there are a lot more questions and answers. It's like the sport. It's like a sport of Roddy Piper, and the other thing about it is just when you think you have the answers, it'll change the questions on you, which is something the great Roddy Piper once said. But Watson, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats since 1888 over on Level Road. Look, they will send their premium meat anywhere in the country. They have for our listeners. So anybody listening to us, you want to treat yourself, you want to treat somebody it's a great way to do that. I'd send it to family members. Look, you're over when you do that. I mean, you're over when you do that. The great Watson Brown will tell you. He comes on here. You can tell he's full of iron, fired up, focused, and prepared. Watson, let me know when you're ready for some more.
Oh, it's unbelievable, Tony. I've done a lot of different commercial type things through all my time, but this ain't a commercial with me. I mean, I'd never tasted meat or whatever. And when you sent it to me quick, and as soon as I did, I said, holy cow, this is special stuff. So it's easy for me to say that. I will always eat this meat, whether I'm buying it or getting it free. I'm going to eat Simpson's meat for the rest of my life. I can tell you that.
Watson, you're my man. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a Doc Godone. And look, I'll tell you this, okay? I went for a walk in the park today. I'm still in southeastern Pennsylvania. When I walked,
are you? Good for you.
Hey, it was 73 degrees this morning when I walked.
You know when to go to Philadelphia.
A little breezy. hey, it was a little breezy. But we had a tornado warning last night come over my brother's house. We were hunkered down dogs. No, it's scary. It's great up here. It's scary. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, you don't get much up there.
You're my man. I love you, brother.
Enjoy yourself. Love you guys.
Thank you,
always an honor.
Love you. Hey, Cinco, position statement right now. You ready for me? Because I made some people mad with my comment about Pavia. Here's what I respect about Pavia. You said this early on in the Nico deal. When I watch a quarterback, do you bring your teammates with you on the field? Do you raise the level of the team around you? Pavia was not a flatliner. Now, I realize he's not for everybody. His family is whatever they are, trash. Okay, fine. I get that. His mother's 39 and Holden. I get that. I get all that. And it was a circus with the guy. I'll tell you this right now. If Tennessee gets in the next couple years Diego Pavia level of quarterback play, they'll cut the nets down, Sean. You feel me on that?
They'll have a chance. I have a chance. I got, you may not like him, but he was a great college quarterback.
Yep.
And I would have, since Hooker, I would have traded our last 2 or 3. I would have rather had Pavia than Joey Aguilar. I'd rather have Pavia than Joe Milton. I'd rather have Pavia than Nico. And to me, it's not even close. To me, that's a no-brainer.
Not even close. People.
Now, he's a punk.
Can hate. Yep.
And his family's a disgrace the way they act.
Yes.
But on the field, he's a way better college player than any of those 3 ever thought of being.
And here's the thing about it, okay? He told us last year, I'm going to come into your house. I'm going to rain on your parade. His team believed it when he said it, and they followed him. And that sport in the collegiate level is about you believing in that guy that's under center. It's plain and it's simple. Now, on the other side, and people could say whatever they want to say. They can hate on this guy. They can laugh at him for getting cut. Hey, I don't deal in NFL realm here. I don't care. We love college football. And that guy's a Hall of Fame college football player. Plainly and simply. Hey, Brian Hartman, you believe that, what I'm saying about Pavia?
Well, I'll say this, Tony. If he's a Hall of Famer, then Hendon Hooker is.
Absolutely.
I don't know about Hall of Fame, but
no, he's college.
Because, if that's the stand, I don't know about Hall of Fame either. But if Pavia is a Hall of Fame, then Hooker is too. Because if Hooker doesn't get hurt, we still lose that game, perhaps. But he's in the Heisman. He's certainly in New York for the Heisman Trophy. May not win it, but he's there, and we have a lot better season. So yeah, if that's the case, then Hooker is too.
Hendon Hooker is a college football Hall of Famer as well. No question about it. He was going to win the Heisman Trophy that year. His 2-year run at Tennessee will never be forgotten by college football. That game against Alabama in the 4 years ago, that'll never. You don't do that to Nick Saban. He's a college football Hall of Famer. Sure he is. And Pavia is too. And we have to acknowledge that. You got to listen, when you get on here, you got to have some credibility. You got to call an ace and a spade a spade. People say, well, he's a thug. He's a this, he's a that. Listen, I'm not talking about what he is or isn't. He took their team. You know what Vanderbilt is? They're garbage. They're a runaround car. That's what they are. They're garbage. You know that, and I know that. I mean, call it what it is. You ever seen Vanderbilt do that to Tennessee? We come back. Ewad wants to answer. Ewad wants to answer the charges against the University of Cincinnati. Mark in Colombo can't believe that Joey Aguilar's name is being used optimistically. Joey Aguilar's name is being heralded, as Adam Sparks earlier, about an hour or so ago, said if he was on Tennessee's football team, they'd be picked third. Hey, listen, I think that's accurate. And you know me, I'm not a big Aguilar is the greatest quarterback to ever live. But he's a quality football player in a league full of unknowns. And that includes Arch Manning, by the way. I know some of you want to crown him. Crown him. Crown him. We continue with more on the other side after this. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Basilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's national award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got 2 locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free.
Personally, I'm partial to black cherry and pineapple.
14 flavors.
That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week.
In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors,
including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half.
Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out.
Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Boy, the High Noon hotline has gotten a lot of work out today, and it's come in all shapes and sizes. It's come in invited guests that want to get in. It's come in today in the fact that Arian Carter, we started out today's show with Adam Sparks. Been suspended by 2 games. Initially, the NCAA issued a 3-game suspension to him. Tennessee appealed and got it down to 2 games. And now what are the Vols going to do from here? Are they going to take their medicine? And in the midst of that conversation, Sean Sinclair brought up the fact that this guy's getting hammered for jaywalking. And Sean, just as a refresher for folks just joining us, because this occurred a couple hours ago. The truth is, and the fact of the matter, before we go back to our High Noon hotline and bring our next guest in, the fact of the matter, Sean, is that the NCAA looked like they were going to let this Sorsby guy play college football after being a member of the Houston Gamblers. If it weren't for the fact that the conference did some deft dealing and basically went the federal lawsuit level. I don't know where that lawsuit was, but at any rate, that was a nuclear option for them when Ken Paxton opened the door and they walked in it. The league as it is, the Big 12. Cinco, I say to you, and I say this to you with a straight face, you said what about the Sorsby deal?
Sorry about that. I was muted. No,
you're fine.
I'm sure Ewad will come on here and have more accurate information, but my recollection was when this was being unpacked at Texas Tech, I believe that I heard there from a couple of accounts that Cincinnati had known this for a while and that he played there that year. and the year before, and they didn't report anything. They just kind of let it go. Now that could be wrong, but I heard that from two different people, and I can't quote or name the sources. I just don't remember, but I'd heard that.
Yeah. I think that's a generally believed to be that's kind of what went on. Hey, we knew this guy was gambling dating back last year. And who knows, it might have been them that kind of tipped off, and maybe they narked. You know, you can't spell narc without a C. Or maybe they Newarked. Can't spell Newark without a U and a C. All right, let's bring Eric Waddell in. Eric Waddell joins us. He is on with us. He covers the Vols and brings us game reports and hangs out with us during our Garza Law fifth quarter fan reaction, which our first one will be, like a month away. That's crazy, E. But E, you heard your Bearcats brought up in hour one, and you wanted to answer said charges. Go ahead, Ewad.
Yes, I when I started hearing malicious attacks, I thought, I should set the record straight if I can.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
The big thing to keep in mind is Cincinnati did know some things. They've got these systems that they put on the players' phones that alert them when they try to access a gambling site.
Yep.
So what happened, and this has been a while back.
Yep.
They essentially said, Sorsby, come in. We want to talk to you because we got an alert that you tried to access this site. It's been a little while since all the talk about this happened, so I can't remember which site it was, but so Cincinnati was aware that he was attempting to gamble. Here is the thing that most people don't seem to realize, and I know a lot of Texas Tech fans seem to have a hard time conceptualizing this. But a person who's old enough that plays sports in the NCAA is allowed to bet on certain things. As long as they are not an NCAA sponsored event. And when I say that, Cincinnati does not have a skiing team. But if like, say, whatever gambling website he's on, he could bet on that. Or UFC. UFC is probably the best example. Obviously, the University of Cincinnati or Texas Tech doesn't have UFC. So basically what was told to the administration, and again, I'm just saying from what I've been told about Sorsby, he admitted to, I'm gambling on things, but things that are legal to the NCAA, that are not rule breaking. So the university did know about that, and they acknowledged that. He received educational classes about gambling, so on and so forth. There was at least 2 or 3 classes that they pretty much forced him to take, and he did. And I guess he did what was required from that. And my understanding is the university turned that information over to either the conference or the NCAA.
They let him play.
So,
hey, Sean, your point's well taken. They let him play. They let him play. They're killing our guy over jaywalking.
Here's the issue I would have, and I love.
He made your point, Sean.
It was illegal for him to gamble on those things.
He made your point, Sean,
because they thought the issue was done with.
Here's, and I love sharing the airways with Eric after games and all that stuff, and respect and love him. The issue I would have with that was that those same reports indicated that Texas Tech became aware of these gambling problems from people within the Cincinnati program after he transferred.
You buy that?
And then Texas Tech did due diligence, and they found out different information that suggested he not only bet on football, but also bet on his own team. either at Cincinnati or at Indiana or both.
What do you got, E? What do you think?
I hear you, but your story kind of left out the most important parts.
What do you think, E?
Well, I'll go with two things here. Apparently, that eventually came out, and that was while he was at Indiana, because he transferred to Cincinnati from Indiana.
That's true. He was gambling at Indiana. That's right. As a freshman. You're exactly right.
So, and that came out, about the Indiana. And then eventually some stuff came out about he would go down to Great American Ballpark watching the Reds play whoever, and he would bet on individual pitches using not his phone, but a family member's phone.
Wow.
Like,
here's what I would say. I'm not here to rip Cincinnati at all. I would be. I would actually put my child's life that there are players on within Tennessee's athletics that bet, because it's impossible to think they don't.
Of course.
That's impossible to think that every school doesn't have that. My issue is that it seems like whether Texas Tech got punished or something like that. Again, we're talking about the hypocrisy and the unlevel justice that comes down with the NCAA. And I believe that Texas Tech would have fought this tooth and nail until the very end, had not, if Sorsby would have known beforehand that he would not have been drafted in the supplemental draft, I think they would have taken that as far as they could, and he would be playing. And the NCAA would just sit there with their, what's in their hands.
Eric Waddell, I find you to be a great guy, and I love you. But the bottom line is this, and you'll agree with me here. The NCAA has a really funny way of meting out what they call justice, their version of justice. It's completely inconsistent. It's completely nilly-willy. It's completely feckless. It's the reason that we're in the place that we're in with NIL. They deserve everything that's happened to them. They deserve to be stripped. They deserve to be neutered. They deserve to lose their members, so to speak. And I mean that in an anatomical sense. I mean, enough is enough, but you're right. He did start betting at Indiana. Then he matriculated to Cincinnati, and he blew up and became a great player. But the NCAA could have called the cops on his party a long time ago. You and I both know that. Come on. That's the truth.
And when you say that, you're talking Sorsby himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is not about Cincinnati. I don't have a bone to pick with Cincinnati. I like him. I liked Fickle when he was there.
Here's a weird thing. Yeah. I mean, Texas Tech is probably going to get slapped by the NCAA in some fashion. I know that there is an investigation. They are looking into Cincinnati's role in it right now. They have been served by the NCAA. And I wouldn't be shocked to see both schools get something out of this in a negative fashion from the NCAA. But, the reality is, and this has been kind of a sport this summer, is watching the Texas Tech fans, and I'm going to say this totally one-sided, whining and crying that nobody is beating up on Cincinnati for their role in this. But the thing is, Cincinnati, from my understanding, and this is from like published reports, this part at least, that they turned over the information that they had to the NCAA.
That's right.
So they weren't trying to hide anything that they supposedly knew.
Now, I don't want to make this about Cincinnati because it's not my style. And by the way, hang on one sec. Columbo's on hold.
They knew more, but to my knowledge, they didn't.
Columbo's on hold. He wants to answer the charges against Joey Aguilar. that.
Well, hang on. Before he does, let me tell you about how the
East.
NCAA works and how athletics.
Hang on.
I'm going to give you a real life story that involves me and the NCAA investigation.
One second. Okay, I want to hear that on our overtime because I want to remind you we're out of time, and so we're going to kick it over at tclub.team and keep doing what we're doing. In the meantime, Ewad stays. Colombo's getting on. Cinco's got a story, and the playbook with the great William Pattison is on the way next.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's
high noon somewhere. Sun's up.
And it's time for another High Noon Overtime.
The place where we kick back, pop a top, and really get to the bottom of it.
Presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer.
Made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added and it's gluten-free.
Live like the sun is always out.
And now it's time for High Noon Overtime.
I'll tell you this. Ewad's got his boxers in a bunch. Cinco's got a story on the NCAA. And Mark in Colombo wants to answer the charges on Joey Aguilar that the Vols would be third in the league, picked third by the media, if Joey Aguilar would have won his court case when everybody else won a court case. But Ewad, we have this matter to take care of first. Do you feel Ewad satisfactorily heard, or do you feel picked upon by us?
No, what's been concerning is, and this is only an allegation that I've heard, but
yep,
this Campbell guy, the big money guy at Texas Tech,
yep,
has been essentially paying reporters, or paying off reporters to write articles in favor of Texas Tech, and
how about
they're
this?
they're trying to spin this that like somehow it's Cincinnati's fault.
I totally believe that. I totally believe that.
Jinx Jones just said,
I think that you got to stand up when you're being bullied like that.
Well, let me read this to you. I wish Danny White would do that with the Vols in the NCAA, but he's hiding in his ivory tower. Jinx Jones 78 says the following: this has already been investigated and reported. Cincinnati knew all about this. When Texas Tech refused to pay Cincinnati their buyout NIL money since he released his gambling history. It's that simple. Is that what happened, D? And then we get Mark and Colombo in here, and I want you to hang on for that, for his fun and frivolity.
I would love to see any proof that occurred. You know, it's really easy to make
Sean,
allegations.
that's the point. That's the point, Sean. The point is that a lot of us believe what Jinx Jones is saying there. I'm not picking on Jinx for having that for having that belief. A lot of us believe that. It's not beyond the scope that Campbell guy's rich enough to pay off a reporter or two to mix it up a little bit. Sean, is it?
I mean, I'm not saying any names, but I guess it's not above the possibility that you could do that with reporters or judges. Just saying.
I mean, all right, E, stay right there, E. I want you to be privy to this.
Yeah,
because this guy here
made a huge donation to the Attorney General of Texas's re-election campaign immediately once this stuff started, when they were going to defend their lawsuit with the Big 12 was considering filing against them. So he has no problem spending money.
Eric, I don't think anybody compares Cincinnati to Texas Tech with regard to how they're playing the game. I mean, it's just those two teams are associated by the one player. I mean, I hold. I mean, I'm not a big Cronin fan, but I hold Cincinnati in high regard.
Well, Vandy Dandy, that's a great question. Why did nothing happen to John Mateer last year when he cashed apt his bookie with bets from his personal account? I remember when that broke last year. I thought, well, this Mateer guy's toast, and he showed up on the field. All right, let's bring without further ado in here, because I bow thy heed when I say thy name, because this guy's a clown. And he appears on the High Noon Hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, on our High Noon Overtime. Colombo, I thought of you when Adam Sparks said if If Aguilar was back, the Vols would have been picked third in the league because he's accurate.
Which league?
He's right.
Which league?
The Southeastern Conference.
Oh,
he's right.
Okay.
Come
On the
come on.
Swansea thing, real quick. Weren't his parents living in Knoxville?
Sorsby? Yeah, his parents.
Okay.
They
Was
politicked.
Tennessee, according to some, not according to others, but was Tennessee at least looking around for a quarterback this offseason?
Yes.
Did we really kick the tires on that kid?
His parents approached
And we
the
said, "No,
University
thank
of
you."
Tennessee, and the
So
Vols
Tennessee
said
knew
no,
about
thank
it,
you.
but Texas Tech didn't. Tennessee knew about it, but Texas Tech didn't. Okay.
Eric, do you think that happened? Do you think Tennessee knew about it, Eric? I think it's why they stayed away from him. It's one of my great mysteries because I remember in real time when it happened. They moved here. They like it here. They approached Tennessee and said, we'll give you a huge hometown discount. We want to see our son play football. We want to be, because they moved here from Texas. They love this place. They vacation in Smoky Mountains. They live, I don't want to give it away, but they live in our area. Eric, you think Tennessee knew about it? Piecing back through that now?
It sounds logical, or at least they knew something was up, perhaps. I mean, that's logical. I mean, I because from what I understand, again, Cincinnati reported that there was some information to be, well, essentially reported.
Yep.
That they admitted this to the NCAA. They knew, and I did just look this up. They knew that Sorsby bet on the UFC, and that got flagged in 2024, even though it's not against NCAA rules because it's not a sport they sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see it's possible that Tennessee might have said to themselves, this guy's not squeaky clean. That doesn't mean he's a Class A felon, but maybe they had concern.
It's college
Does that make
football.
sense?
These aren't Boy Scouts. I mean, you're going to take a dude if he's got some baggage, but if you're gambling, if they knew he was gambling on his own team that's going to blow up, they were never going to take him, which I think they knew. These kids aren't Boy Scouts. I mean, you don't win with Boy Scouts here, but betting on your own team, yeah, you're going to be. There's a reason why Tennessee didn't do anything with him. If they had
Jimmy Section added a piece, by the way. His brother-in-law coaches high school football here. And so the family wanted to be near both or two siblings and have the kid play here. That is true. Tennessee got approached more than once. And then the family reached back out and said, why aren't you interested? And I thought it was very, very curious at the time because we got that information. And I didn't do anything with it till after the fact, because after the fact, it became clear that Tennessee either was tipped or they didn't like him. They thought he was mid. They thought Cincinnati was Mickey Mouse. And they just thought that Cincinnati's got a very disrespectable program.
Yeah. I wouldn't. My thought is, stays on 2026 all the way.
Yep.
You ain't going to convince me that any transfer, you keep saying let's go bring in a transfer. Who? Dante Moore's not available, Tony. I don't know who you wanted to bring in. Eli Holston, Bo Pribula.
All right, let's get back to the original comment today from Adam Sparks, which apparently has set you all off, according to Laura. And the comment apparently is that the Vols would be picked third. Eric Waddell, first of all, you cover the league for the Associated Press. Do you find that to be an accurate statement that the Vols would probably be picked third if, in fact, Joey Aguilar would have won his court case like everybody else did?
Which league? Sorry,
Whoa. I'm talking to Eric. Relax.
Which league, though? I want to be clear.
To quote Nico's pop, Big Nick, effing lax. Ewad, third in the league. What do you think?
I think it would have been third or at least close. You know, really, what's the difference other than literally a number between fifth in this league and third in this league preseason? I think they probably would have been in that range. I think that the writers probably around the league may think more highly of Joey than you.
But even I think more of him than Mark. Mark thinks the guy. Mark, how would you couch Joey Aguilar? Tell Ewad what your opinion of the guy is.
He's just the jag of all jags. I mean, he went 8-5 against a very manageable SEC schedule. You think he's going to
his defense? Mark. His defense is the worst thing that's ever been put. Sal Sinceri thinks their defense was bad last year, and they kicked a field goal against Georgia and should have won the game. But you don't give them credit for that.
Tony, when the offense goes stagnant for a quarter and a half of every single game, the defense is out there for crazy amounts of time because he can't move the ball for a quarter and a half, 2 quarters. Maybe that explains it. I mean, did the defense throw the pick against Alabama on the goal line? Did the defense throw back-breaking interceptions against Oklahoma? Defense did those things.
Sean, is Joey Aguilar that bad?
Hold on.
What's that?
You aren't considering the upside of a dude like Faison here.
Yes.
Now, I know it's high school tape and it's highlights, but go watch that. That's a dude. That's a difference maker. He's going to have some growing pains this year, yes.
That's exactly right.
But I'll give you, we'll say top 10 player in the country, top 3 quarterback in the country, and that's me being generous. I've seen him as high as 1-1 at some services. Like, that's just a totally different caliber of player than Joey freaking Aguilar.
All right.
The Make-A-Wish kid. I mean, like, I don't get why we still have these conversations. Yeah, is Faison going to take some lumps this year? Absolutely, he's a true freshman. But this is a dude. Go look at him. He looks 25 years old. He's 6'4", 220, can run. Like, what are we even talking about here? Joey Aguilar's ceiling can't even touch Faison.
Cinco? I'm really excited about Faison, Brandon.
I would say this. I agree. Yeah. I don't have it's not as extreme as Mark, but Joey Aguilar, he saved our bacon. We had no other choice. But he is who he was at Appalachian State. He was a guy that could make a few plays. He could run around, but he was dangerously irresponsible with the ball. He was a gunslinger, and he put your team in bad spots, and we saw that in 2 or 3 games last year.
Yep.
Would we be third in the conference? Hell no. No way, because it's still
picked.
Everybody is talking about this. They're just associating Jim Knowles with a total defensive takeover. If what you just said was that defense was wretched, and we lost. Think about this: we lost more defensive talent than we brought in. Everyone just says, "Well, Amari Campbell, these guys from Gilliam." None of those guys were difference makers at Penn State. They just know the system. We lost more. We have less defensive talent than we had last year. So how in the world are you going to turn around with not a quarterback that's played any? How is that program going to be third in the SEC with a much more difficult schedule? That's a joke to even think that.
I said pick third. I didn't say to finish in third.
Do you think Jim Knowles is going to improve the defense by like 60 spots nationally?
No way. No way. With less talent. No way.
And it takes a year to learn this guy's system. Now we got.
I agree with that.
We got put in the ringer by Chaz Coleman.
By the way, the other thing is this picking them third. It's a media poll, and when I say between third and fifth, I feel like I know usually how the media is going to pick teams.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
That doesn't mean that suddenly. That doesn't mean suddenly that Aguilar would have been a superstar.
Right.
It's just he's a returning starting quarterback who's gotten healthy.
Yep.
When he played part of the season last
Mark
year,
Mark don't want to hear that. Mark doesn't want to
get
hear
a bump. It's a media pick, not oh my God, they're the third best team in the league pick.
When I said the kid had a lot of courage last year because he played with a tumor, Mark don't want to hear that.
Here we go.
No, you don't want to hear that. When I say my sources tell me that when he threw the ball downfield, he was wincing, but that just goes to show you how little they think of GMAC, Sean, that they didn't even let him play in the bowl game last year when the other guy had a tumor growing out of his arm. Now, that's truth. That's something we can all agree on.
Tony, I'll venture to say, now I don't think we have a chance with either one. We got a better chance of finishing third in the league with Faison than we did with Joey Aguilar.
That might be so. Because this Faison Brandon guy has wheels, and you got to have wheels in this offense. This guy is a great athlete. Now, I don't know what kind of quarterback he's going to be, but he is a damn stud athlete, and I believe he works very hard. I believe he's a really grounded kid. I want to say my hopes are up for him, but I can still picture myself 3 years ago embarrassing myself prior to the Nico deal, and I'm going to be right back at the beach in the same beach house next week, and I don't want to do that again. I don't want to replay. But I do agree that the ceiling, the ceiling is higher.
Nico's some great stud, but Nico didn't have the receivers that Joey Aguilar had last year. Nico was throwing to Squirrel White and Brew McCoy, who ran like a 4.9.
VFL 2019 said that Faison's tape reminds him of Deshaun Watson. It's a hell of a quarterback right there. I would take the guy we let get away. What was his name, Sean? The one that Lane Kiffin sent there and got the party started for
Taj Boyd.
Taj Boyd. I would take Taj Boyd.
If you'd have told me we were getting Ty Simpson, then I'd say, all right, we're cooking with gas now. I could fine.
Absolutely. He's a 14th pick in the draft.
And I would have been intrigued by like Austin Simmons. But I'm not heartbroken they didn't get Austin Simmons. Like, it's not a deal breaker. Like, whatever. I would have been intrigued by that. But anybody else, I don't know who you wanted to get.
Austin, what is up with you and this old
Tribula,
Simmons from Ole Miss?
Holstein,
Simmons from
Cal ain't going anywhere. Like,
Simmons from Ole Miss.
Country wanted the guy from Cal.
Simmons from Ole Miss. Mark, why are you so fascinated? Why are you so fascinated with Mississippi, who will be right back to where they belong this year, like ninth in the league?
Program. I'm not a fan. I'm not
11th, 12th, 13th.
I like the program.
Austin Simmons.
I like their people.
Well, I like you, Columbo. People are calling you like a waste of time, a waste of space, a brain donor. You're getting attacked over here on YouTube, but I'm enjoying you. I find you to be compelling. You and Columbo have had yelling matches at each other, Cinco, with each other in the past. What do you think of Lumbo at the end of the day, Cinco?
Oh, I don't know that I may have raised my voice once or twice, but no,
You called him a prick.
The vast majority of time, I agree with Mark.
Ewad, what's your thoughts on Lumbo, who has to live up there around the Ohio State people and be a Tennessee fan, which you got to grow quite a shell to do that?
You are correct about that. The Ohio State fan in general, and not in total, but in general, awfully hard to live around. And
Phil
here's the thing I appreciate about Mark. He says the truth as he sees it.
Yep.
That doesn't mean I agree with him all the time.
Yep.
But I agree with him a lot of the time. And I hate to use other people's phrases, but I feel like at least in his heart and in his mind, he's a truth teller. And I appreciate that.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Lumbo called about 3 weeks back and said, hey, these Ohio State people know that kid's coming to Tennessee. And we put him on. people say, why would you put him on? Because he knows people inside that Ohio State program. That's why I put him on. And then during the whole Chaz Coleman thing, he knew people around that family, and that's why I put him on. Now, today I put him on because he's got this infatuation with not giving this quarterback any credit that played for Tennessee last year. I mean, the way he referred to him earlier is a disgrace. But he's got pretty good information. In terms of being a takesman, he's kind of a terrible takesman, honestly. Lumbo, anything else for us? You're kind of not the man.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank
it's been
you.
a pleasure.
Have a Dwight Gooden. Hey, Cinco, I got to ask you about something. UNA. Cinco, you followed the recruiting bit back in the day. I got to ask you something here.
Go ahead, and then I've got something from the chat there.
This Rush Probst guy.
That guy's fantastic, isn't he?
Why do we love him so much? He looks like a cross between, and I had it in the blog today, he looks like a cross between Lex Luger in the 80s. He's got a little James Carville in him. And the third one was, I can't remember who the third one was, but it was really good. It's in the blog today. I can't recall off the top of my head. But he's got a little bit of Serpent Head. He's got a little bit of a lot of Lex Luger. And who was the third one? God, on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, why do we love this guy so much? And he was going to coach with Spokane this year, Cinco. Spokane.
It's because guys like him have no shame. They have no. It reminds me of when aptly named the politician Anthony Weiner went through his whole nonsense and then decided to run again. And they brought all of his past transgressions out in an interview, in a debate, and he goes, "Yeah, so that was then. This is now. What's the point? This allegedly, this guy had two families.
Yes.
He jumps from place to place. He just, I guess if he doesn't let something stick, it's not true. But I mean, I don't know that I love him, but for somebody that is so unaware or doesn't care about their history, I just find that fascinating. But I wanted to address something. Someone said on here that who did we lose from last year's defense that we haven't met or exceeded? Well, just take a look at the defensive line from last year. And I'm not saying they were great, but everybody that was on last year's team that's on this year's team, that's a wash. Maybe they'd be, if you want to say, well, maybe Nathan Robinson will be better. Okay, maybe. But then maybe Jordan Ross at LSU would be better if he was here. So that's a wash. But we lost on just the defensive line alone. Dom Bailey, Bryson Eason, Jackson Moy, Tyree West, and Josh Josephs. And they brought in Gilliam and a kid who's been okay at Tulane. At cornerback, the Ty Redmond was there last year. He's a player, so we'll give it he's going to be better. He's a player. He's the same player. And I don't even give you Ricky Gibson or Gerard McCoy. Forget it. They were hurt. They don't count. Boy, Colton Joseph going in what, second round? We don't have another second-round quarterback out there.
True.
Aaron Carter was here last year. T-Lander was here last year. Amari Campbell knows the system. You're a Penn State fan. He was an All-American. I hope he's great, but he wasn't.
No, he's a college player.
Now, I would imagine the safeties are an upgrade because he can't be any worse than Turrentine and whoever else was back there. God love me some Will Brooks. Wish he was back. But we don't have anywhere close to that defensive line right now.
Well, I'll tell you, Sink, it's an interesting thing. That one of the things that's being peddled that I don't know that I believe is that the defensive line is going to be a surprise unit on the team.
Well, and I hope so.
Yeah, I listen. I love hype and hope as much as the next person, but that I'll take an okay defensive line, and I'll live with it. I'll take an okay defensive line. Okay.
If you got good
Anything-
linebackers, all you need is a decent defensive line.
Well, and you got a guy here.
If you got guys who can fly around, you at least have to be decent up front.
Yes.
Because because you don't want the offensive line you're opposing to be able to get down onto the linebacker.
No, let's not change the debate. The debate was it wasn't whether we would be good, bad, or indifferent. The debate was, do we have a team that would be voted third in the SEC? That was the whole question. And that's what I brought my argument against.
With Aguilar.
That all we're looking at is Jim Knowles is the savior, and he's going to take the same talent with a couple of sprinkles in, and all of a sudden we're going to be up there at the third. That was the discussion, not whether or not each individual player is better or not.
No, I get you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. And here's the thing, a lot of unknowns on Tennessee's roster. Brent Hubb said what he said, that, that roster retention, there's an assumption that there'll be a lot of guys who have really big years this year and they're going to have to pay them. I hope that's the case. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to see them pay to retain average players like they've done in years past if 2027 is your year. You can go get replacement level players because they're replacement level players. In 2027, if this quarterback and Markin the Lumbo's right, and I have a feeling he's going to be right, 2027, they better get in the transfer portal or identify some guys that can really play. I'm open-minded to either case. If it's the case that these guys can really play, hey, great. But in past years, we've gotten too married to replacement level players during the NIL era and overpaid them. And that is, in fact, the case. That's not what you do when you're trying to chase a team that can win in the playoffs. That's a fact. That is a fact. Period. End of sentence. I said it today in the blog. I will say it again. And Sean or E, if you guys have a thought on that, that is simply the case. That is the truth. Don't get married to your players just because they're your players. Yes or no, Cinco?
Oh, I agree with you. And I can appreciate, look, you're never going to get every decision right. But I appreciate what Tennessee is doing right now is, a year or two ago, they were paying they were paying way unproven players, especially on the offensive line, big sums of money that were never going to play or hardly play at all. They were paying a lot of kids that weren't even going to affect the scoreboard at all.
Correct.
Because they were true freshmen or redshirt freshmen or redshirt sophomores.
Correct.
And they spent a ton of money on those high school classes. And then a spring or two ago, they found themselves wanting for NIL, and they didn't have the budget to go out because they had committed so much. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It just turns out the way it turns out. So I do appreciate the way they are adapting and changing and trying to say, hey, this didn't work so well, so let's go portal heavy. And that's why I said last week, when signing day comes in high school and maybe we're between 15 and 20, don't freak out because it's the dynamics totally changed. But I wanted to go back. I figured out your doppelganger for Rush Probst. When you go back and look at him, I will guarantee you will agree. Is there a reason why Rush Probst and Bobby Petrino have never been seen in the same room together?
Oh, that's so good. And Petrino's like a collegiate level.
Absolutely.
Rush Probst, because Petrino keeps getting jobs. There's
That's
nothing
it. And they look exactly
Petrino
alike.
could do. Yeah. Yeah. Petrino's now on the Lex Express. On the way out, it's been unbelievable. Andy, Ewad, I look forward to hearing your voice come the football season. And Ewad, do you mind that we call you Ewad?
Not at all.
Thank you. Eric,
Not at all.
Man. Eric Caduce to you and the Cincinnati Reds, who beat up on my Phillies a couple weeks back.
Well, you want to talk about a schizophrenic baseball team. They either win by 8 or lose by 8.
And then they have
But
the
go
Cubs
ahead,
in their division, who have like a pair of like 12 and 13 game winning and losing streaks or something like that. Calhoun's Carp said Tony isn't coming back to Knoxville at this point. Hey, Calhoun's Carp, my understanding from a couple neighbors is Laura had a couple of prayer candles lit last night with that expressed, I think, prayer that she was sending up. So thank you. A lot of fun today, guys. I want to thank my friends and at High Noon for presenting the Vine today. And I want to thank Laura for finishing up today on the board. And Laura, that photo you just sent to me is without a doubt absolutely outstanding. High Noon hard seltzers, 14 flavors, always a winner, always next level. High Noon vodka seltzer, 14 flavors, real vodka, real fruit juice, 100 calories, no sugar added, gluten-free. You got to check out black cherry and pineapple, which we will have next week at the beach when I let my hair down. Oh, I don't have any. Never mind. I just went to check it. Also, try High Noon vodka iced tea, 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon. And if you're feeling adventurous, High Noon tequila, 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite orange blood. High Noon real vodka, real fruit juice. The sun is always out. Live like it. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company, 21 and over. Enjoy responsibly. So last night, quick story. We had a tornado warning here. Not like a watch, a warning. Like it's coming over it's in the town that I'm in. And we heard a tremendous strike of lightning right near my brother's house. Like the thing where it goes, pop, boom, and it like shakes the house. Like it goes, you know what I'm talking about? And my brother looks at me and he says, man, can you imagine getting anywhere near that? And I said, yeah, I could imagine that. I said, that might reinvigorate my follicles if I got near that. You see, I might be a member of Bald Nation, but I don't know if I'm a proud member of Bald Nation. I'd love to grow my hair back. And to the guy that came up with the moniker, Basilio's third chin, I want you to know something. I stayed in the park today for an extra hour when it got warm and walked, even though I was feeling dizzy and sick because of you. Because you insulted me the other day. And it really bothers me that I now have a commentator on YouTube that calls himself Basilio's third chin. I mean, Julie Herman's roast beef is one thing. And Tony's watermelon sounds is another one. And Casey Clausen's armchair is another one. And Danny's, what's the thing that Danny has? There's one guy in here that drags Danny. There's Basilio's beak. You know, you can do that. Pruitt's neck gator is in here. You know, all those things. But do we really have to have Basilio's third chin? I asked Laura the other day, so what do you think of Basilio's third chin? She said, you want the truth? I said, yeah, I want the truth. She said, I laughed. I giggled at it. But Danny's Jerry curls earlier in today's show was on a heater in here, on a heater in the YouTube room. So for the YouTubers, like and subscribe. You help us continue to grow. We only had to stick a couple different people in the penalty box today, which you brain donors were a well-behaved. Michael Moats corrected it. It was Tony's fifth chin. Now, that's not fair. That would mean that I have more chins than Fulmer's last team had wins. I love that saying, more chins than wins. Jimmy Section said it's better than a fourth chin. Casey Clausen's arm hair says, all is forgiven, Basilio. Great show today. Commissioner Bockwinkel's right. He's been in charge of the show forever. You're a handsome young man, Basilio. Screw the haters. The wind blows hardest at the top of the flagpole. That is true. That is true. Well, I need to eat something and then get to work on tomorrow's bloggy. I just want to say on the way out, I appreciate you. Hit the like and subscribe button. Help us grow over on the YouTube. Because truthfully, that's where the world is heading. And I didn't do it. By the way, we also have a free app for you to download at your discretion and leisure. You can get the blog there. You can get it all there. Everything that we do is there. Till we meet there, Kevin McCollum, over under on the amount of time people will be stuck in parking garages. I don't even want to think about that. By the way, have they torn down G10 yet? It was supposed to happen in July. We're at the end of July. Does anybody know? And Music City Sam is right. Basilio, I don't know if I'm a guitarist, but I play guitar, and you do look 2 times better. One of the first things I did with my beautiful girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, is play her a song on guitar. And brother, it was all over but the shouting at that point. Till we meet again. Peace and enjoy your day. Thank you.